I need the nod from Aaron. Okay, we're ready to begin. I'm wearing a sling just to get sympathy, you know. That's all I want. So I would like to call this meeting to order. And welcome everyone. We got some great presentations, recognitions tonight, so we'll get to that in a minute. First thing I need to do is, and I didn't bring the public participation reminder with me, so I'll do that when we reconvene in the boardroom. Reading of the fire evacuation procedure. In case of a fire, would everyone please follow the exit signs to the outside of the building. Please stay completely clear of the building to provide space for any fire department vehicles. Oh, there it is. Thank you. Persons wishing to address the board must sign up prior to the start of the public participation. Speakers must register on the form provided by the district at the entrance of the boardroom to maintain a first-come, first-served process. For purposes of following up with speakers, speakers must provide their name, address, telephone number, and/or email address. To limit comments to matters which may be properly discussed during public participation, the speakers will provide the topics. Any group or organization wishing to address the board must identify a single spokesperson. Thank you for that. Now would everyone please stand for a moment of silence. Adam, would you lead us in the pledge this evening, please? Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. One more thing to do. I need a motion to approve this evening's agenda, please. Lisa, second by Elizabeth. Any comments or questions, board members? All in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion carried. Thank you. So now we begin the good part, our recognitions for DECA International Career Development Conference participants. Sue Utz, you're on. Where are you, Sue?
All right, good evening. I'm Sue Utz. I'm here tonight on behalf of Mike Kataya and I to recognize 5 outstanding Victor DECA members, 3 who stand before you this evening. Before I start, a huge thank you to the school board, for Dr. Terranova, and for Mr. Siesto for all the endless support to really make DECA happen at Victor High School. Last week, we came back from the International Career Development Conference in Anaheim, California. We pride ourselves at Victor High School for having the largest and most successful chapter in Western New York. We are a student-run organization. Our students really lead the charge, and we know that really has a lot to do with all of our success. There were 9 Victor DECA members competing at the international conference. And then we also had 4 other students that attended what's called an Emerging Leaders Series. So with over 10,000 students from over 10 countries competing, we couldn't be more proud of how our students performed. I'm going to start with Cameron Williams. Will you just step forward? So earning a silver medallion for top 10 test score in the event of Hotel Lodging and Management Series. Congratulations to Cameron Williams. Just a quick little bit about Cameron. He's only been at Victor High School for 2 years. So he's a second-year DECA member, and this was his second year to go to ICDC, so incredibly impressive. He is a senior, a chapter officer, and planning to attend, as of today, officially, Oklahoma State University, majoring in aerospace engineering. Way to go, Cameron. All right. We love the applause, but I think if you don't mind, we'll wait till the end, all right, just to keep everybody moving. Ian Bass couldn't be here tonight. He is a junior who also earned a silver medallion for top 10 role play in business services marketing. In addition to being a seasoned DECA member, Ian was a member of the state champion bowling team, and we anticipate his return next year and know the sky is the limit. Ryan Gill, if you would please step forward. Congratulations. Ryan had a partner, Raj Chitre, who couldn't be here tonight. Ryan is representing the team beautifully. Ryan and Raj were finalists in financial services team decision making and earned what is called a blue medallion. A blue medallion is top 20 internationally overall in an incredibly difficult event. Both Raj and Ryan are outstanding students, multi-sport athletes, in addition to an additional long list of accolades. We look forward to another exciting year ahead for both Ryan and his partner, Raj. I know. Last but certainly not least, if you would please move forward, Connor Doran. Connor Doran distinguished himself as a true DECA international champion for a second time. He competed in the very popular and incredibly competitive Sports and Entertainment Marketing Series event. He earned second place, which is affectionately known as DECA Glass. And it has to be noted that we have only earned DECA Glass one other time. That was 2 years ago, by none other than Connor and his partner at the time. So this year, he did it on his own. Connor is a 4-year DECA member, our current co-president. The list goes on in addition to his long list of achievements at Victor High School. Connor will be attending the University of Pittsburgh. He'll be majoring in finance and minoring in computer science. Connor Doran has truly set a new standard of excellence for our chapter's decade-long history. With over 200 students in our chapter, we are confident that the members of Victor High School DECA had ample opportunities to truly experience the difference, which was the DECA slogan for this year. Congratulations to this fine group of outstanding Victor students, our true DECA champions. Thank you. You're so welcome. No, Ian? Thank you. I know. You can clap.
Thank you.
You bet.
Wow, quite impressive. I wish I could applaud harder, but I just can't do it. Sorry. Next, Victor Indoor Percussion Ensemble State Champions, VIPE. Liz Skauman, please. You're on.
I know. Hello, everyone. Thank you for having us, and for this recognition. It's great to be back here. This is a truly amazing group of young people, and really represent the very best that our school and our community has to offer. We have so many things from this season to put on the publicity, to put on the whatever, with the successes that this group had in competition. First of all, never until we got to World Championships, this group never came in second place this whole season. Only came in first place for the entire season, and we're thank you. In the middle of the season, we were promoted to open class, which there are 3 divisions of A class, which we have almost always been, and then open class, and then world class, and there are only about 24 schools that have world class groups in the entire country. So being open class really is a huge deal. We are in fact the only open class program in New York State currently. So that's, that in and of itself is a huge accomplishment. Second year in a row of being finalists at regional championships, and just so many, lots of things to put on the brochure, lots of things to put on the pamphlet. But really, this group of kids, the way they work together, the way they supported each other, I have rarely in my career had a group of kids that worked harder or worked harder for each other, and as I said, are the best that our community has to offer. So congratulations again on this state championship, our 3rd in 4 years. Tall quad.
There's like 2 of them.
I know, but we might be on the tall edges.
I'll wait for them to
Sort it out.
They'll be on the bottom. I'm going to hit the other side.
Okay.
We've been told to stand in the front row.
Okay, wow, another impressive group. I did see a performance, and it scared me a little, right? It was great. Okay, now, next up is our 2023-2024 retirees, and we're going to begin with Heidi Robb, please.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Heidi Robb, the principal at the primary school, and I have the privilege of honoring 4 retirees this evening from the primary school. First, we'll start with Maureen Unterborn. Congratulations. Maureen is with us tonight. She started teaching in Victor in 1998. Prior to her career in Victor, Maureen taught for 6 years at a private school. Over the years, she embraced several new challenges. She was first hired as a reading recovery teacher. She did that for 4 years, and then she spent 4 years as a grade 1-2 progression teacher, then 4 years as a K-1 multi-age teacher. And after a 1-year leave of absence to help with her first grandson, she then taught 3rd grade for 6 years. And her last 7 years have been as an AIS reading teacher. She's a lifelong learner that always prioritizes her students. One colleague said that Maureen is her favorite overachiever. She has always gone the extra mile when it comes to her friendships, family, students, and her daily teaching schedule. She fills every minute of her day. The colleague also shared that she looks up to Maureen for so many reasons: her kindness, selflessness, her energy, her ability to set healthy boundaries, and her constant recognition that we teach little complex humans as opposed to impersonal groups that happen to have some similar academic needs. Another colleague shared that Maureen has become such an integral part of her life. She said it's hard to imagine not seeing her every day. She has made such an impact on everyone around her, most importantly, the children she's worked with. And her presence in our building will be missed by all. Maureen, I hope that retirement brings a change of pace so that you can do all the things that bring you joy. I am so grateful to have had the privilege to work alongside you and to learn from you. I wish you the very best in your retirement. Congratulations. We're having him come down. Come on down. You. The one and only. Do you want her? Are we having retirees stay up? Nope, you can head back. The next three retirees are not with us this evening, but just as special. I'd like to recognize Allison Murphy next. Allison began teaching art at the intermediate school in 2000, and then she moved to the primary school in 2003. She retired this past winter. She taught for 35 years, and in that time taught every single grade level. Although she knows she made the right decision to retire, Allison does miss school, but luckily for us, she's back, and she's been subbing in the building quite often. She does miss school, but I guess she missed it enough that she had to come back. So congratulations to Allison on her retirement. Robin Halliday, congratulations to her. She's retiring at the end of this school year. She's taught in Victor for just over 20 years, most of those years being as a third grade teacher. She started as the building sub and also taught second grade for 3 years. She's excited for the next chapter and the change of pace that it will bring. And although we're happy for Robin, we know that she's going to leave a huge hole at the primary school that will be difficult to fill. We wish her the very best. The last retiree I'd like to honor is Connie Oley. Connie began as the primary school's library clerk in the spring of 2019 and retired this past winter. She greeted our students, helped them with book selections, and always created a warm and welcoming atmosphere for our students and staff. Her lovely thematic displays and makerspace craft suggestions are just a couple of the ways that she made a huge difference at our primary school. We hope Connie is enjoying her retirement. Congratulations. I'd like to introduce Ashley Sokola, the principal of the intermediate school.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Ashley Sokola, principal at the intermediate school, and I have the privilege of honoring 3 retirees this evening. The first person I'd like to honor is Kim Bavis. Kim began working in Victor Central School District in September 2004. Over the course of Kim's teaching career, she has not only positively impacted students at VIS, but also all the families that she worked with. Kim has been a consistent leader in the 4th grade ELA PLC. One of her 4th grade colleagues shared, Kim is a leader and a voice for our grade level, and has inspired others, myself included. Even in her last year of teaching, Kim strives to improve and to best support her students. Her willingness to seek out ways to continue to learn and grow professionally is a reflection of her continuous growth mindset. Kim's classroom is a place of learning, growth, and discovery, a place where students feel welcomed and empowered. Kim cares deeply for each of her students, celebrating their successes and collaboratively problem-solving when they need support. Please join me in thanking Kim for her years of service in Victor. The next staff member I would like to honor is Judy Francis. I'm honored to acknowledge Judy Francis and her dedication service for the last 6 years at VIS. Throughout her tenure, Judy demonstrated unwavering commitment in supporting students, including both general and special education settings. Her ability to forge meaningful connections with students, families, and colleagues was remarkable. And her presence in school was always accompanied by a warm smile, a positive outlook, and a great sense of humor. Judy exhibited exceptional patience and composure, particularly during difficult situations, ensuring that each student she worked with always felt supported and advocated for. Her genuine care and dedication left a lasting impact on our VIS community. Please join me in congratulating Judy. And finally, I'd like to honor Mary Ann Wacob. Mary Ann began working at Victor Central School District in June of 2004. With a mix of emotions, we celebrate her years of dedication, service, and invaluable contributions to VIS. Mary Ann has always been a welcoming smile that greeted us each and every day, and a hand that guided us through the countless tasks that kept the school running smoothly in the main office. Behind the scenes, she has been the heartbeat of our building, tirelessly working, ensuring that everything was covered, from budgetary items with precision and care to who was covering each and every class every day. Mary Ann's impact extends beyond the realm of operational duties. She has been a support for students, parents, and staff, offering a listening ear, a word of encouragement, and a sense of calm in even the most chaotic of moments. Her kindness, warmth, and dedication to our building and district will leave a mark that will not soon be forgotten. We want to express our gratitude for her years of service, dedication, and support, and please help me in honoring Mary Ann. Next up is Brian Gee, principal at the junior high. Thank you.
Gotta make sure I get the right one to the right person. Good evening, everyone. Brian Gee, the principal at the junior high school. I have the honor of talking about Pam Lowe and Linda Tabbitt tonight. I'm going to start with Pam first. Pam is here with us. Hi, Pam. You can stay in your seat. I was going to make you come up, but you can stay there. So Pam joined Victor in 2002 and has remained a valued member of the math department ever since then. And not only has Pam impacted the lives of thousands of students, but she's also left an indelible mark on her colleagues and others that now call her a friend. One colleague noted that working with Pam has been the greatest joy of his short time in Victor, and that her personality and humor really make the Green 7 team a wonderful place to collaborate. And that most importantly, Pam knows how to connect and interact with students, and you know that they really enjoy her class each time you see them go down the hall. Pam, you're going to be missed by everyone on not only your Green 7 team, but that whole hallway for sure. And we hope that you have a blast when you get out and explore the rest of the world. Pam is renowned for always brightening people's day with her upbeat and positive attitude. And if anybody had a chance to just interact with her briefly in the other room, you just feel it. You know, when you're next to Pam, smiling, happy, always with a good positive story to tell. So that's been very much contagious for us, and many of us feel lucky to have worked with her, not just with her math knowledge, but just also for her personality. And her students have been very lucky to have learned math from her along the way, and her math department is going to miss her greatly as well. So one quick story, I told Pam, there's a few. You ask colleagues to share stories, and one came through that on this one particular holiday week, Pam had heard that the market was going to be closed. And Pam has, family is really important. They're over at her house, she's the hub, and she starts saying, what do you mean Wegmans is closed? Wegmans can't be closed this close to a holiday. And one of her colleagues said, no, Pam, what that news report was talking about was the stock market is closed, okay? And so then you let that sit for a minute, because what was ironic in that is that Pam was teaching the stock market elective at the time that she made that comment. So again, one of those things that just brightens, the days of everyone around us. So in retirement, Pam, we hope that you can find a balance between relaxation and exploration, a division of time between leisure and pleasure, and a multiplication of your memories with your loved ones, which has grown exponentially in the last few years. Nice job. Come on down. You do get to skip down and back, and you're going to have to tell me what's in these blue boxes, because I've been handing them up for years, and I don't know what's in them.
Oh, thank you. Great job. Thank you.
Okay, and now, it's a big loss for us at the junior high between both of these folks. Linda Tabbitt joined us in 2009 as our librarian, and that is a position that she has held close to her heart ever since then. She's an amazing book talker, and she can always draw someone into a book and knows just how close to get before the spoiler alerts go off, to really hook you into that. She's inspired many, many reluctant readers to pick up a book and continue on that lifelong literacy journey of being a reader for life. Her passion for the library to be an inclusive and welcoming space for everyone is a hallmark of her work, and certainly going to be a part of her legacy at the junior high school. She's worked extremely hard to diversify the junior high collection so that every student can find something to relate to and to make them feel seen. And beyond the books, she's created an atmosphere where students and adults, I'm one of them, she's helped me get books for my kids over the years, know that they can come and that their uniqueness is seen as their superpower. That passion extends beyond the scope of VJH. As I mentioned, Linda is always connected with colleagues, helping provide resources and ideas for our own families to get our own children into the love of reading and storytelling. And Linda is a lover of all things Harry Potter and the Buffalo Bills. So in that vein, like the moving staircase in Hogwarts, Linda's journey has been full of surprises and unexpected turns, but we hope that she would not have had it any other way. And just as Harry had found his place in the wizarding world, Linda found hers with us. And like Harry, she's done it with a touch of grace and magic. In your retirement, Linda, we hope that you get to go back to one of your favorite places, Stone Harbor, New Jersey, which she just mentioned she's going to be going to in October, which for those of you who are in education is like the holy grail time of being able to go on a vacation, is late September, October. So good job to you. And she's going to be spending a lot more time with her family and her friends, and obviously cheering on the Buffalo Bills. Go Bills. Great job. Thank you. Yep. And I'd like to introduce Brian Siesto from the high school to talk about our high school retirees.
Okay, everyone. Good evening. Brian Siesto, senior high school principal. I've got the pleasure of talking about two people tonight who have given 75 years to public education. I'm going to start with Jim Andre, who started his career in 1992 as a .4 part-time teacher at Mount Morris. Later that year, he became full-time. And in 1993, he came to Victor, again as a part-time teacher. But he saw the potential for growth, where he taught across the district before finally winding up at the high school as a full-time PE teacher. He is a coach extraordinaire, where he coached football every single year since he's been here at every single level. He was our boys lacrosse head coach where for 7 seasons, where out of those 7 seasons, 4 of the 7, they won New York State titles. And he was the class of 2008 co-advisor with Allison Baker. He is married to his beautiful wife, Colleen, who, as you're going to find out later, is an absolute saint, and you will find out why. His three children, Clark, Will, and Elena. Elena is here tonight. Graduated from Victor. Clark in 2018, who's crushing it in Boston right now in the world of finance. Will in the class of 2020, who just graduated last week from Penn State University, where he is going to be moving to California soon. And Elena, 2022 graduate at Syracuse, who is a physician's assistant, starting to be a physician's assistant and living our best life, to be honest. Jim grew up in the Rochester area, graduated from Gates Chile High School, and then went on to Cortland. When Jim came to Victor in 1993, he said, and I quote, "I was recruited to come here by Jim Haw, who was the football coach at the time. I walked the fields. It was awful. There were car parts, weeds everywhere, no lights, and a cinder track, and I thought, this place is definitely for me." And I asked about the car parts, and apparently there used to be a car show, an auto show, right on Corbett Field. So that explains the car parts. Jim is one of the most positive and energetic people that you will ever encounter. He always starts his conversations with, "Tell me something good that's going on, but it has nothing to do with school." But more importantly, he will do anything for kids, whether it means jumping into the pool fully clothed as a way to encourage that shy student to participate in the swim unit, singing karaoke loudly to his favorite hard rock songs during PE class, or sending one of his patented emails home to a parent about a student who might have cut class, encouraging that parent to have conversations with their child about the importance of PE class, and always offering a chance to meet in person if the parent needed help. His advice for us: life is going to be challenging. We have to love kids enough to guide them, especially when it is not easy. Toughness doesn't have to be mean. The most loving thing we can do for them is to teach grit and perseverance. When he retires, Jim's looking forward to connecting with people he hasn't had time to see in a while. And of course, he and Colleen are going to be visiting their children. But his sense of humor is what is legendary. And this is a story I'm going to end about Jim's recognition. When Jim went from a .4 to a full-time teacher at Victor, he called his then girlfriend, Colleen, and told her she had to come over to his house because he had something for her to celebrate getting hired full-time. She pulled into his driveway and immediately found out that instead of coming over to get the diamond engagement ring she thought he was going to present to her, Jim instead purchased a Trans Am and a Ski-Doo. And he finished by saying, "Well, after all, I am from Gates." Jim Andre, ladies and gentlemen. Jim, just like at the conference day, you have to go up onto the stage and flex for everybody, just like you did at the conference.
I don't need a microphone. It's true. I was just so excited. I was so happy. So there it is. Thanks, man. It's a journey.
Okay, the next person I have the pleasure of talking about is Mary Banaszak, who I'm not going to look at because I won't make it through this speech otherwise. Mary has spent, is it 43 or 44 years in education? 43 years in education. If you do the math, that brings you back to around 1981-ish, where she started in Williamsville for 8 years as a special ed teacher and a team leader. She came to Victor in 1989, just after she married her husband, Dan, as a Victor Junior High School counselor. Her two sons, Max, he was born in 1994, and Ben was born in 1997, and even when they were born, she continued to do projects on maternity leave. So part-time work has never really happened for Mary. She was a K-12 counselor on special assignment as a CSE chair from 1996 to 2005, where she chaired meetings for Dick Drams. Some of you might know that name. She did all of the CSE meetings before there were even subcommittees, and she did it across the district. And she said she literally got to know families across the district. And she came to the high school in July of 2005 and has been here since. She started our conversation today by saying, "I've never not worked, so this is terrifying." Mary said that she is going to miss the families, the students, the people, especially the staff, her friends and colleagues. She has enjoyed watching students grow emotionally, socially, and academically. She is still working. She's the president-elect for the New York State Counselors Association, for School Counselors Association, and she is on the board for the PPS professionals for NYSET. She goes to Albany every single month, and last week she met with 7 state senators advocating for social workers, nurses, and psychologists, and was advocating for Medicaid funding for any student, not just students who have special needs, because districts also get some funding back. Tara Hobson, one of our psychologists, had the following to say about Mary. To say Mary is a coworker would not be an adequate description of her role in our department or my life. Mary is a leader, a role model, a confidant, and a friend. She never misses an opportunity to celebrate others in their professional and personal lives. She is generous, thoughtful, and one heck of a decorator. Mary has never hosted an event without a tablecloth and flowers. Mary, thank you for your wisdom, guidance, leadership, and professionalism to the very end. We love you and will text you and call you regularly with questions. You might want to consider changing your phone number. Our conversation, that Mary and I have known each other for more than 20 years, and our conversation really was not at all about Mary, but about others. It was almost like really trying to pull teeth to get information for Mary to talk about herself, but that's how Mary is. She is the last person to want to talk about herself, but she is the first to want and advocate for others. Mary, you exemplify truth, honesty, selflessness, and ethics. You have impacted thousands of people. You always truly believe that people are good and can do good. She is married to Dan, who is working at Xerox. Max, her oldest son, graduated in 2012 from Victor. He was an IB graduate from Victor, and he is the chief of staff at Tempest Labs in Chicago and New York City, where he works in genetic matching of cancer drugs. And her son, Ben, is a 2015 Victor graduate who benefited from our Project Lead the Way courses. He is board certified in prosthetics and orthotics in New York City, where he works for children and adults and giving them a chance of living as close to a normal life as possible. Extremely successful children, and Mary, we are so proud of them and proud of you, and I could not thank you more for being a friend. Mary Bannister. You can run up on the stage too if you like, right? Thank you. Okay, I'd now like to introduce Mr. Derek Valise, who is our Assistant Superintendent for Business.
Thank you, Coach. Thank you, Grandma Bear. So first, tonight I get to honor Linda Tice. Linda has been a valued member of the team since 2000, initially starting as a teacher substitute. Over the years, she is taking on various roles in the organization, including serving as a teacher aide in 2001, typist in 2003, department secretary in 2004, and finally, an employee relations assistant in December of 2012. In addition to her contributions at work, Linda is also actively involved in the community, volunteering as a firefighter and currently serving as the president of the Victor Fire Department. Her most important roles, however, are those of a dedicated mother and grandmother. Linda is known for her kindness, her patience, and commitment to ensuring all employees have the necessary health coverage. She has built strong relationships with both current employees and retirees, always taking time to assist and connect with them. Her deep understanding of health insurance processes and complex acronyms like HRA, HSA, FSA, HDHP, and I'm sure a ton more, has been invaluable to the organization. Finding a replacement for someone as dedicated and knowledgeable as Linda has proven to be a challenge. Despite interviewing multiple candidates, none have matched the high standards she has set for the role. We are grateful that Linda plans to maintain her positive attitude even in retirement, providing ongoing support to our team. We extend our heartfelt thanks to Linda for her years of service and congratulate her on her well-deserved partial retirement. Thank you. Next up is Mr. Brian Parker. He was unable to be here along with Mr. Marshall, our Director of Facilities, so I will be speaking about Brian Parker. This is a message left by Chris Marshall. It is a great honor to congratulate Mr. Brian Parker on a record 30 years of incredible service to Victor Central School District. Thank you for all you have contributed over the years. Through all the thousands of setups, number 5 cleanups, I don't know what that means, different cleaners, teachers, and administrators, you are still sensible and wise. That is amazing. That is an amazing takeaway. You have always brought your sense of humor to any task. The tasks were innumerable and daunting at times, but you addressed these with a problem-solving skill unmatched. You have taught us a lot about how things work in the Victor facilities, and we will always be grateful for that. We have appreciated your impeccable attendance record and your top-notch ability to teach staff proper techniques. You will be greatly missed. Goodbye tension, here comes the pension. Have an amazing retirement, relax, sleep in, spend time in the garage, and of course, enjoying spending time with your grandkids and sister. We are all jealous. Next up, I have Dan Carter. Who retired, but retirement didn't work out well for him, so he's back driving bus for us. So we're still going to do a speech, and Mrs. Kelly Klink could not be here, so I'll do her speech for her. Dan Carter began working for us in the fall of 2005 after retiring from Xerox after 30 years. He also served our country from 1962 to 1965 in the Army. Dan had an exemplary career as a school bus driver with Victor for 19 years and counting. Dan was everything for the school district who would want in a school bus driver. He had an impeccable safety record, a good relationship with his families, students, and his coworkers. He had a very strong work ethic. Dan connected with his students in special ways. One of his students' mothers had breast cancer, and Dan and the student both wore pink breast cancer shirts every Friday to show their support for Dan. Dan continued that on, even after the student moved on from his bus to another route. Dan will be greatly missed by all of us in the transportation department. This is an old speech, he's back. But we wish him the best in his retirement. That didn't last very long. Kelly Klink. Next up, I would like to introduce Karen Ryan, our Assistant Superintendent for Pupil Services.
Good evening, everybody. I'm Karen Ryan. I'm the Assistant Superintendent for Pupil Services, and I am proud to honor and appreciate the incredible career of Judy Hesney. Judy started her career as a teacher aide substitute at Victor Central Schools in 1997. She continued her journey as a typist in the primary school main office till November 2010, where then she joined the Pupil Personnel Service Department as a senior typist, and in that department has been forever blessed by her presence and her knowledge and her kindness and compassion. Judy is a master of her craft. There are very few questions that you can ask her that she does not know the answer to. She is always willing to help her colleagues and staff across the district. Judy is not just a dedicated colleague, she's also a devoted wife, mother, and grandmother. Balancing her work and family life seamlessly, she's admired for the commitment of putting her family first. As a parent of 4 unbelievable children and a grandmother to 5 beautiful grandchildren, she starts many mornings with a phone call from her granddaughter, who always wants to share important news with her Nana. She travels to New York City and to Vermont for visits, but also for weekend babysitting duty. Her commitment to her loved ones has been unwavering, and her dedication to her work and family is admirable. As we acknowledge Judy's retirement today, we want to express our deepest gratitude for the years of service and commitment she has shown to all of us. Though she may prefer to leave quietly and not be recognized in the spotlight, it's important that we recognize the impact she's had on our lives, and her presence will be deeply missed. We have not had to completely say goodbye to Judy yet. She has been staying on to train our newest member of the office, and we are so grateful for that. So tonight, we want to congratulate her on her retirement and we will see her tomorrow. So, and I would like to introduce Karen Finter, our Assistant Superintendent for Instruction.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Karen Finter, the Assistant Superintendent for Instruction. I have the final recognition this evening on behalf of Mrs. Angela Affronti, our Director of Technology, who wasn't able to be here. I'd like to speak about Danielle Pollock. Danielle has been a valued member of the Victor Central School District since January of 2000. She began her career as a teacher assistant in the computer lab at Victor Intermediate School, where she provided guidance to students on spreadsheet creation, typing skills, and internet safety. In 2006, Danielle transitioned to the technology department, where she excelled in supporting teachers in resolving technology issues. She has dedicated numerous hours to setting up various devices, iPads, Chromebooks, MacBooks, laptops, desktops, and more. Danielle values the relationships she's built with colleagues at VCS, citing them as a highlight of her job. Her extensive knowledge of the district's history is unparalleled, and she will be greatly missed in the technology department. Many thanks to Danielle.
Am I moving slowly? Is that why you're laughing at me? One more round of applause for our talented students and retirees. Thank you to them. Ouch, ouch, ouch. Okay, we're going to take a short recess and reconvene in the boardroom, starting with the superintendent's update. You will not want to miss that. Okay, we are back. As I said, most exciting part tonight, the superintendent's update, please.
Turn my microphone on. Well, welcome back, everybody. Just a huge thank you to our retirees, as well as our amazing students from DECA and VIPE. We all know what a tremendous job they do, and again, a huge thank you to the retirees for their years and years of service. Just a couple quick updates. First, I want to update the board on the mission and vision work for our district. We have given out a survey to the entire community around the mission and vision and what they value, what people value in the district. We've had hundreds and hundreds of responses already, and actually closed last week, the survey. I think we had, I'm taking down some notes there, 816 parents filled out the survey, 84 alumni, 262 staff members, had about 25 students, so that's one area that we were a little low on. We tried to really push it out, but at the same time, the committee that's going to be getting together again on the 15th of May has a large number of students on it, so that's going to be important. But again, just hundreds and hundreds of people contributing to the survey. On the May 15th, we will have our second large meeting to introduce an exercise, review the survey results, and then introduce an exercise where the committee members are going to be asked to write a letter about Victor Schools 25 years in the future. They're going to get about a week to complete that assignment, and then we're going to have, I think it's 3 additional meetings, but that group is going to be whittled down to probably 10 to 15 members of a work group from that big committee. And so the next 2 meetings, hopefully in June after May 15th, will be to really take a look at the letters that the committee members wrote, all the results that we've gathered, and compose a long-form version of a vision statement. And then the second meeting in June after that will be to whittle that long-term vision statement into a vision statement that the group definitely feels comfortable with, that to bring to the community for a little more feedback. And then we're going to have another meeting, hopefully still by the end of June, maybe the summer, worst case scenario. We're going to be talking more about the mission. So encourage, hopefully our board members are able to attend May 15th. That's where we're going to really get into the details of the survey, and just appreciate everybody's work around our mission and vision statements. Hopefully the plan is that they will be finalized by September of 2024. Also, you should have just, I don't even have one, do I? I just passed out this pamphlet. You can't really see it, but I have to give a shout out to one of our library media specialists, Michelle Lindsay. Michelle Lindsay put this together, I found out, for the district, and it's basically a nature guide of our campus. So if you open up the brochure, you'll see the, I think, what is it, over 2 miles maybe, of campus with a variety of sites from the Memorial Grove to the community garden to the forest habitat. They even have the history of VCSD on there in site number 15, which is in our records office. But it's something that Michelle did on her own, talks about safety, talks about all sorts of different things, but really kind of brings our campus to life, and I thought it was a pretty neat thing to share with the board, and just thought it was great that that was created. A couple other quick things, celebrations. We just had School Nurses Day on Wednesday, which was part of National School Nurses Week. Cannot thank our nurses enough for their combination of caring and high competency in taking care of the health and welfare of our kids and our staff. Incredibly important work. We can never forget our nurses. And of course, it was Teacher Appreciation Week as well. And a huge shout out to our PTSA for their luncheons to honor the staff. We had one right here for the ECS in the district office. They do an amazing job, and thank you to our teachers. And my last message is just a reminder to people about our budget vote, which is Tuesday, May 21st from 6 a.m. to 9 p.m. right in this boardroom. You need to be a registered voter. If you have questions about whether you're registered or not, please call or email our outstanding board clerk, Maureen Goodberlet, who is here tonight. Also, voter registration is March 14th from 3 to 7 p.m. at the district office. And a huge thank you to Maureen for her coordination of the entire budget vote, as always. And people should be receiving in their mailboxes tonight the Victor newsletter, budget newsletter, which looks something like this. I know it's not very good on TV, but it's a great, very compact newsletter filled with all the information that we believe is pertinent to the 24-25 budget. Have to thank Kim Dole and Liz Welch from our communications department for putting this together, along with the expertise of Derek Valise. Also on May 21st, you have to put a plug in for all the different events that are occurring on campus. We have the Random Acts of Art from 5 to 7 p.m. in the Senior High Art Wing. We have the legendary Cares Carnival put on by the Victor Senior High Cares Club from 3:30 to 6:30 p.m. on Tuesday the 21st. We have a orchestra concert at 7 o'clock. We have a chicken barbecue sponsored that benefits the VCS band from 4 to 7:30 p.m. And of course, I think we have 4 different sectional events coming on athletically on the 21st. They'll all be home, which will be pretty exciting. So lots of things going on May 21st, including the budget vote. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Terranova. Next item is public participation. Although the board's work is open to the public, this is not a meeting with the public. At this time, privilege of the floor is offered to those who have signed up to speak. I'll be happy to recognize those of you who wish to speak. When you approach the microphone, please identify yourself before presenting your thoughts. Individual comments will be limited to 3 minutes, and the total time for this portion of the agenda will be limited to 30 minutes. Please note issues related to specific school district personnel or students must be brought to the attention of the superintendent of schools privately, as they are not discussable at this venue. So I have Chris Dunphy signed up, please. Thank you.
Thank you. Good evening. My name is Chris Dunphy. I'm the parent of a special education student here in the Victor School District. Some of the administrators know me. And I'm here to point out, while we're in the other room celebrating achievements, I think there's also some deficiencies here in the school district. Maybe some of you are aware of it. Others, this may be new news. But I think it's something that needs to be brought out in the light. And I know I only have 3 minutes, so I want to first jump in. I had filed recently, 2 months ago, a Freedom of Information request with the district, requesting by grade level how many out-of-school suspensions had taken place. And of those, how many students in district had an IEP or a 504, and how many out-of-district students had been suspended. I'll quickly go through this because, again, it needs to be brought out in the light of day. We had 2 suspensions in kindergarten. One of those students, so 50% ratio, had a 504 or an IEP. In the first grade, 2 students were suspended. First grade, 2 of them, both of those suspensions had an IEP or a 504. In the second grade, there were 2 suspensions. 1 had an IEP or a 504. So again, we're at a 50% ratio, and these are kindergartens, first and second graders. In the third grade, we had 5 suspensions with 2 students in district with an IEP or a 504. In the fourth grade, we have 8 suspensions, 6 of those students, 3/4 of the students had an IEP or a 504. In the fifth grade, the number was 7 students in district students out of school suspensions. 6 of the 7 students had an IEP or a 504. There was also 1 student out of district that had an out of school suspension. In the 6th grade, 5 students suspended. 2 of them have an IEP or a 504. In the 7th grade, we have 11 student suspensions out of school with 5 students. So again, almost half. 5 students having an IEP or a 504, and 2 out-of-district students, which also fall under Victor's purview, as I found out. 8th grade was 30 suspensions. 14 of those students had an IEP or a 504, 2 out-of-district students. 9th grade was 13 suspensions. Can't get personal, so I won't bring up information there. But 5 of the 13 suspensions, the student had an IEP or a 504. 1 out-of-district student. In the 10th grade, we had 12 suspensions. 6 of those had an IEP or a 504, and 1 out-of-district suspension. 11th grade, 7 suspensions, 2 with an IEP or a 504, and 2 out-of-district students. So if we tally those, it's 4 out of 7. And in the 12th grade, 5 out-of-district suspension, or excuse me, out-of-school suspensions. 2 of those students had an IEP or a 504. There was a lot there where it was 50% or higher in these grade levels. The students who do not make up nearly 50% of the student body had a IEP or a 504. And I think this is a challenge to you, the board, because maybe before this meeting, maybe before this FOIL request, you weren't aware of these ratios, but we're leaving special ed students behind and we're treating them unfairly. So the couple pieces I want to continue on. The budget. Tim, in your email, I know you've positioned special education and allocated additional funds there and said, however, though, if Albany doesn't give us the school aid needed, those additions may not take place. I would stress to the board and to Tim that I don't think as a parent of a special needs student that that's acceptable. With these numbers and with the problems, I think we need to pour and allocate resources to make sure that the kids are getting what they need so they don't continue to be singled out as these numbers and be such a high percentage. I feel there's also a shortcoming in the code of conduct. It's used as a weapon for special needs students. They're held to the same standard and no nuance is taken into account. I've experienced it firsthand, not speaking directly about my case, but I can tell you that it's not used appropriately and evenly across the entire student body, right? We've had racism in the past last year, or a incident that was associated with racism last year. There were no out-of-school suspensions involved in any of those matters. And finally, I would challenge the principals. Right? They are, and oftentimes, handling these suspensions, or it falls under the purview of a superintendent suspension. I would challenge all of you to, one, I think we need greater training around this in Victor so it doesn't continue to happen. And 2, I really think a revision or some type of understanding, better understanding of special needs students and how they are impacted by the code of conduct really needs to take place so that we don't continue to single out these students for the heaviest suspensions really that can be handed out. So, thank you very much for your time.
Thank you for your comments. Okay, next item is item 6, acceptance of consent items. We have 6A through G. So first, I need a motion to accept these items, please.
Elizabeth.
Elizabeth, second.
Lisa.
Lisa, any comments or questions on these items? Anyone? Hearing none, take a vote. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Abstentions? Motion carried. Thank you. Item 7A is campus news, chasing down the end of the year. Let's hear what we got.
Good evening. My name is Rob DeRose. I am the principal at the Early Childhood School. I'm happy to share with you some updates from our school. Students in grades K and 1 visited the Rochester Museum and Science Center. And just going to get the pictures up. There we go. For a field trip, they were able to deepen their learning that they have engaged in this year during science. Students also viewed a show in the planetarium called I See the Sky. Students returned happy and tired, and both our teachers and families are appreciative of the support from the board to enhance their school experiences through these field trips. Students who are new to our building and entering kindergarten next school year will be participating in our kindergarten screening process this month. Kindergarten teachers, counselors, school psychologists, our social worker, and speech-language pathologists will facilitate hour-long screening appointments, which help us to get to know the students, but also for our students and their families to get to know us and our school community. Clover Weigel started supporting our school as well as the primary school building this month. Clover is a sheepadoodle as well as a therapy dog. Her owner, Taylor Weigel, is a speech pathologist who works between the two buildings. Since getting her dog, Clover, approved by the school district, Clover has been bringing smiles to the faces of our students each time she visits, as well as our staff. It's been a joy to see the positive impact that she has been having on our students and staff throughout the school hallways and classrooms. Mrs. Weigel shared with me today, actually, that she has to put on "Where is Clover" decal on her door because students will knock and just check to see if Clover's in the room each day they pass by. This week is Teacher Appreciation and Staff Appreciation Week. PTSA volunteers and students chalked our sidewalk so that our teachers and students were greeted with some amazing artwork and positive messages about the incredible teaching staff that we have here. In addition to this, our PTSA, with the help from Food Services, put together an amazing appreciation Mediterranean luncheon. The boardroom was filled with joyful sounds and positive connections. It was a great celebration, and we're thankful for the support from our PTSA. Students have been working hard to show how much they care for and appreciate their teachers. Students have been making their teachers feel loved and valued all week with kind notes, flowers, and warm welcomes. 1 week isn't enough time to show the appreciation that we have for our teachers and staff. They're dedicated, kind, and skilled at their craft, and we thank them for all they do each and every day here at the ECS and VCSD. Thank you.
Thanks.
Hi, I'm Heidi Robb, the principal at the primary school. I also want to thank all of our teachers during Teacher Appreciation Week for everything they do. Also to PTSA, we're looking forward to our luncheon tomorrow. One of our third grade teachers, Allie Fitch, was selected by Cornell Cooperative Extension to be a host classroom for some eggs and chicks. And just this week, the chicks hatched, which has been very exciting for some of our third graders. So we have 4 chicks in her classroom. I think they're there another day or so. Only about 13 classrooms get picked for this because that's the supplies that they have for. And over the course of the month, the students were able to observe the embryo using a flashlight. The project helps students gain an understanding of life cycles, which aligns very well with our third grade curriculum, and chickens in general. Emma Wilson from the Cornell Cooperative Extension has delivered lessons to the class and answered a lot of questions that our third graders have. Thank you to Allie for applying for this opportunity and having that opportunity for our students. At the primary school, we have what's called a CARES Council. And one of the goals of the CARES Council is to support our building with integrating social-emotional learning into our instruction and daily routines. At our last faculty meeting, Gina Peterson, one of our K-1 multi-age teachers, as well as other members of our CARES Council, taught our staff what is happening in the brain when we encounter stress or something unexpected. We learned together as a staff that by taking 3 deep breaths, we can bring more oxygen to our brain, which helps us make our next best choice. So all of our staff are proactively teaching this to our students so that when they do encounter that unexpected event or stressful event, they have a strategy that might help them make their next best choice. I just want to thank Gina and the other members of our CARES Council for taking on that leadership to present to our staff.
Thank you.
Good evening. I'm Ashley Sokola, principal at VIS. It's hard to believe we have less than 2 months of school left. During the last few weeks, we successfully navigated the process of New York State testing. Thank you to our assistant principal, Tom Cheevers, who led the testing process in our building, and our staff, students, and families for their assistance and support. A special thank you to Jody Drew. Jody was one of our building secretaries and behind the scenes in many of our tasks in the office, especially our testing process. She recently transferred over to our transportation department, and we miss her already, but wish her the best of luck in her new role. May and June are filled with field trips at VIS. Our students and staff are looking forward to visiting the Erie Canal with the Sam Patch Tour, Susan B. Anthony House, the Museum and Science Center, Water Treatment Facility, and Valentown. You can see some pictures here from a recent trip to the Susan B. Anthony House that our fourth graders participated in. We are so grateful for the support from our Board of Education and Victor Foundation, our district, to ensure that our students have the opportunity to participate in these field trips. As you know, Teacher Appreciation Week is this week. We encouraged our students to participate in sharing appreciation and gratitude for our hardworking teachers and staff members. In partnership with the PTSA, we also showed our appreciation to our VIS staff members this week. I'd like to thank our PTSA for hosting an incredible luncheon for our staff today. Although we formally recognize our special teachers and staff members this week, we are truly grateful for all their hard work and effort throughout the year. We really do have the best staff and are truly appreciative for all the help they give for our students each and every day. Finally, on April 23rd, PTSA hosted Bingo Night at VIS. Families and students filled the cafeteria for laughter, fun, food, and prizes as they enjoyed the night together. A special thank you to our PTSA and parent volunteers for organizing this great evening for our students and our families. Thank you.
Thank you.
Good evening. My name is Brian Key. I'm the principal of the junior high school. A couple of quick updates. Our technology department just recently got a fantastic recognition through the Project Lead the Way program that we're a part of. We are once again going to be recognized as a Distinguished Gateway School, which recognizes schools across the United States for efforts to provide broad access to transforming learning experiences for students in STEM in grades 6 through 8. So I want to extend congratulations out to our entire technology department and team, particularly Mr. John Hanna, Mr. Nate Wolf, and Mr. Matt Bauerlein, who've been teaching our students in that program directly. Like others have mentioned, it is Teacher Appreciation Week, so I don't want to be remiss and not recognize all the great work that our teachers and teacher assistants and aides do around our building. And I certainly want to thank the PTSA. We had a cart that was going around today recognizing teachers, and we'll be having a luncheon later on in the year for everyone. It was also Nurses Day this past week, so I want to make sure I give a recognition to Kristen Brankert and the work that she does to keep everyone in the building healthy. Sometimes I think we forget that nurses are not just there for students, but also there for us as the adults. We appreciate her. I have a couple of thank you notes that I want to share from a recent activity that we did. We had a survivors program come to the junior high school. I think I've talked about that before. It's a partnership with the JCC. They come in and they provide an experience for our 8th grade. And some of our 8th grade students, many of them wrote thank you notes to use the board for supporting this, as it's now considered a field trip for us, even though we don't travel to them, they come to us. So I picked a few just to share. They first of all want to say thank you for bringing the play Survivors to the junior high. I thought it was meaningful because the Holocaust is something everyone can learn from, but you don't quite grasp the seriousness of it unless you have an opportunity like they did. I'm kind of ad-libbing a little bit here, for people to come and put on a play to understand it. The student said, I personally think it's important for people, especially teens, to see the results of some of the jokes that are anti-Semitic or racist and see how far those jokes can go so they can prevent it from continuing to happen. Another student wanted to thank you for bringing the survivors to the junior high and said that it was so important to share these stories to young people because it will inspire us to make a difference and not let anything like that ever happen again. Thank you so much. And the last one I picked, I could have spent all night doing this, so I only picked a few. Thank you for bringing the play Survivors to the junior high. I'm very grateful for the opportunity to learn more about such an important part of history. I learned more about the importance of hope and perseverance when you face horrible things because of the people who presented them for us. So really, the big lessons that the Survivors Program was meant to show really came through. Kindness, perseverance, understanding history so that we're not bound to repeat it. Really important things, so thank you again for supporting that. And then a couple things we have coming up. We've got our last Pulse survey. It's one of our goals this year to connect with our faculty and staff. That goes out next week. We have our semi-formal tomorrow night. Very exciting at the junior high. Looking for a great turnout there. Our students are heading to Quebec next week on the French trip. That's also quite exciting. Our breakfast with the principal is coming up soon. We have a junior high art exhibit on May 31st coming up, which is also a great event. And we have our capstone event for the year, which is our awards night coming up the first week in June. So a lot to look forward to in a short amount of time left for the year. Thank you very much. And Mr. Siesto is coming up. I think give us an update on the high school.
Hello again, Brian Siesto, principal at Victor Senior High School. A few updates. Just want to start with, as promised, an autographed copy of Jenny Sees the Eclipse from Mr. Redout. There we go, Mrs. Elliott, showing it proudly. So you have a personalized inside cover autograph from Mr. Redout for the cartoon work he did in that monumental work about the eclipse. Want to start by recognizing our Key Club, who organized the Senior Citizens Ball last Saturday. This is an annual event that they do, recreating a throwback prom. Students decorated the ECS cafeteria with retro color balloons and streamers, fresh flowers, vinyl records, and colorful lights all around. We had over 30 seniors from the community who attended for a night of dancing and dinner catered by Shelley's Cafe right here in Victor. And a student DJ took requests for music from their childhood. So we want to thank Mr. Boutram and Mrs. Merkley, our two Key Club advisors who helped make this happen, and to the staff, and particularly Rob DeRose at the ECS for allowing us to come here. So thank you very much. Last April, the 26th, we had our third annual talent show where we sold about 325 tickets and made over $1,600. There were 17 acts and about 35 students and 3 staff members who participated. And we had a bunch of students helping with tickets, backstage lighting, and handing out programs. And the money that was raised is going to help with senior events, particularly for students who might be struggling financially for things such as senior trip, the senior ball, caps and gowns. So great and worthwhile event, and a big thank you to Danielle Westbrook, John Eldridge, and Aaron Isaacs for facilitating a great evening. Proud to say that we have 5 students, a team of 5 students placed first in the Ontario County Envirothon on April 22nd. Soraya Hammer, Adrian McLean, Tessa Natali, Annalie Van Manen, and Sophia Spindler. They won a competition that earned them the opportunity to participate in the state competition in May at SUNY Cortland. This is a national competition that tests students in the field of environmental science, with topics including aquatic ecology, forestry, wildlife, soil, and land use. And this year's current event topic was alternative energy, where they actually do competitions and hands-on activities. So we are very grateful to Steve Cronmiller and those students for being stewards of the earth and embracing being involved in something that they are passionate about. Also want to say a big thank you to our teachers this week for the amazing work that they do, and particularly to our PTSA, who did a treat cart yesterday morning for the teachers, which is always a huge hit. And then tomorrow, our Victor Brew Devils is going to allow all of our staff a free beverage of choice from the Brew Devils. The bill is going to be footed by the administrator, so we couldn't be prouder of our teachers and thankful. And I think we've got field trips that we're going to highlight. Okay, so this is a picture from one VIPE, what Mark Gomlin just spoke about when they traveled to Dayton for the WGI World Championships. As Mark mentioned, they were promoted to open class. They finished the 2024 season as the only open class percussion ensemble in New York State, where they had the 3rd highest score of any open class ensemble in the Northeast or the Mid-Atlantic region. So congratulations to oh, no, I'm sorry, this is Winter Guard. I screwed it up. So I was supposed to start with Winter Guard. I apologize. Well, you're going to see Vipe in a second. Winter Guard had the opportunity to perform at the Winter Guard International World Championships, where they competed against 115 guards from across the country, including Canada, the United Kingdom, and South America. It was a phenomenal weekend where they finished within the top 65 guards that competed. Prior to World Championships, they won the New York State Northeast Color Guard Circuit Championships, and they're starting up their next season with the Victor Marching Blue Devils. So I apologize for going out of order there. So we have Winter Guard, talked about Vipe, and finally, and this I have right, this is DECA. So congratulations to our 13 DECA members who were in Anaheim, Connor Doran, Raj Shitri, Ryan Gill, Ian Bass, and Cam Williams, and of course, we heard the accolades earlier tonight about their phenomenal performances. These achievements not only reflect the hard work and commitment of our students, but also highlight the strength of our DECA program and the support we receive from our school and community. And as always, I'm very thankful to Dr. Terranova and to our Board of Ed for allowing these opportunities to happen and these trips to happen. They mean so much to the students. So again, thank you very much.
Okay, thank you. There you have it. The May Campus News. Stay tuned for June. And what's that?
I feel compelled to clap.
Yeah.
That's just good stuff.
Very nice. Thank you. 7B, Capital Project Update. Dr. Terranova, Mr. Velez, please.
Thank you for having us today. We're just going to give you an update on the status of the capital project. So our agenda today is to remind everybody about the themes of the projects. Last week, Dr. Terranova on Tuesday and Thursday, and then myself on Thursday, met with some thought partners, so we just want to share some reflection and feedback that we had from those thought partners. Talk about the potential tax impact of the project based off of various aid scenarios. Give you an update with SED facilities planning, and then our next steps. So up on the screen is data compiled by a volunteer in the crowd, Mr. Dick Pixley over here. He attended our Thought Partners meeting and helped us compile the data in a digestible form, which is this pie chart, which represents the 5 themes of our capital project. Our largest, which is enrollment in space, which is our additions. Facilities repair, such as our roof and HVAC system. Safety and security, such as security entrances and PA systems. And building renovations, such as our bathroom renovations throughout the building. So that's just a visual of what our capital project looks like. So Dr. Terranova will share the meetings of the Thought Partner.
Thanks, Derek. And again, thanks to Mr. Pixley and his work with Derek, and in a second I'll talk to you about the Thought Partners, but we're trying to make sure we whittle down the concepts and themes of this project in a digestible form. You'll see that in a remark by one of our community members, but if we do that, make sure it's clear, understand that this is a unique district, that 51.5% of the actual capital project is going to be because of space needs and enrollment. That's not the case in most districts around our area, but we have that, and we're going to just need to communicate that very clearly and why it's so important to do. So what are the Thought Partners? Thanks to the leadership of the Board of Education, we worked together, and each board member came up with 2 to 3 members of the community that they knew and were connected with and felt like had the pulse of the community, the respect of the community, and had a good understanding in their own way and whatever they're involved in terms of what they value in the community. We ended up with roughly 15 Thought Partners, which was a great number. We had 2 meetings last week via Zoom because we wanted to make sure as many of the Thought Partners could make it as possible. A couple of the members weren't able to go to either of the meetings, but they still ended up giving us feedback because after we gave the presentation, a little more detailed than this one, more specific to every single aspect of the capital project that the board has seen multiple times. Then we sent out a survey to the Thought Partners to get their feedback independently. I think we received total of 13 back. I'm just going to go quickly over a couple of the snippets. I sent the board a more substantial packet of every piece of information from that survey from the thought partners yesterday, I believe, so you have plenty of time to look at it and look at their feedback. But just a couple snippets. In this case, 5 is really good and 1 is no. So how do you feel about what is included in the scope of the project? This is the breakdown from the thought partners themselves. Now, it is interesting when the question was asked, based on your experience with the community, how well do you believe the community would support the scope? It's not quite as positive as their own specific feelings, but still in a level that, you know, we need to make sure it's semi-positive, but we need to really shift over into the 4s and 5s by being clear. Again, a big part of this survey was comments and their ability to reflect on different questions. I'm just going to share a few snippets here. I won't read every single one of them, but you can see them and how insightful they are, like the digestible chunks of information, comparing it to other school projects, which is a little challenging with us because of what I said earlier. We're one of the few districts that is expanding the footprint of their facilities. And I love this one. Failing to address the urgent needs this time around only minimizes the scope of the next project and puts us in the role of playing catch up. Other highlights from the comments, obviously we want to highlight improving student safety, quality of education. The community has great confidence and trust in the school district was one of the comments, and make sure we really get into the weeds a little bit about how much aid we're getting from the state, as well as any grants that we're utilizing and what we did get and what we didn't get, so people know that we're working hard to try to mitigate any tax impact. So this is valuable information. The good news, we don't have to do anything with it right now, but it's just more information for the board to make decisions with.
So as it stands, there are 2 different components that make up the capital project in terms of aid. One is the interior renovations of our existing facilities. We currently have approval from the state that would aid all the aidable projects within our existing footprint. In addition to that is the aidability to the expansion of our footprint that Dr. Terranova spoke about. So that is what we're working with the state of New York on getting approval to receive aid on. So these different aid scenarios, they don't necessarily have to be 0, 50, or 100. They could be somewhere in between, but we're only talking about the additions in which we are proposing to the community. So if we were to receive 100% aid let me back up. The capital project is roughly about $75 million. Currently, the district has a little over $19,380,000 at the end of April in our capital reserve. We are asking the community to add more to that, or give us the ability to create a new reserve and then possibly add to it at the end of this year. So based off of the scope of $75 million and $19 million being paid for out of the capital reserve, and 100% of the interior renovations eligible for aid, if we were to receive 100% aid on the addition, working with our financial advisors, fiscal advisors, we believe the annual tax levy increase would be $920,000, which would result in a tax levy increase of 1.57%, or roughly $68 per year. And that could range all the way down to 0% aid, which would have an annual impact of roughly $1.5 million, which would amount to a tax increase of 2.61%, or $113 annually, and this would be a tax levy impact for 15 years. Any questions on that? So as you know, we filed with the state our initial requests. They have submitted, we've provided additional information on April 1st. On April 29th, we followed up with the state of New York, and we were told that we will hear from them in the very near future. On May 7th, our architect, Allison Shannon from SWBR, called them and actually told us that they were actively working on it at that time, and they were waiting for their supervisor to sign off on the steps going forward. We don't know quite what that means. Does that mean that they're going to request additional information? Are they going to have a proposed number? We're not sure yet, but we were told that we should hear an answer by the end of this week. So there's 1 day left, so hopefully we hear back from them by tomorrow. Our next step is to continue to assess our capacity to utilize contingency from the 23-24 school year to contribute to our capital reserve. Some of that is contingent on the community's approval of the next capital reserve. Maintain our ongoing collaboration with the state of New York to share our needs and try to figure out a way to get some aid for that. And then once we get a better understanding of how much aid the state's going to give us, you as a board will need to help us to make the final determination of when that vote date will be.
Can I just add, thanks, Mr. Valise. So the top bullet really would be an advantage because we could put a little more money from the contingency that's left over from this school year into the capital reserve, which then further decreases the impact on the taxpayer below the numbers that we just showed you, regardless of the type of state aid we get or the percent of state aid. So that's a critical piece. And then as Mr. Valise said, it's May 9th. I got that. So the idea of having the board quickly approve a capital project before the end of May to try to make a July vote, Mr. Valise has told me numerous times that might not be the most prudent approach because we don't want to rush things. So we're really here to, at this point in the process, really have the board think about potentially having a September vote instead of a July vote, because July is now just pretty much shrinking away since they haven't given us the information yet. So I just wanted to add those 2 points, and certainly any questions or comments from the board regarding that or anything related to the capital project.
I have a quick question about capital reserves. Is there a timeline? Does it expire? Or if you max it out, and then use it for a cap project, is it then that account is closed, that reserve account closes? How does that work? Just for clarity.
Absolutely. And the answer to that question is both. So there is both a limit in which our contributions could be funded through it, and as you spend those monies, once the money is exhausted, it's done. But there's also a useful life of that capital reserve, which our legal counsel usually recommends about 10 years because of the time it takes to create it, the process. I mean, you guys are living through it right now, the process of going through it, and then actually completing the capital project. You usually have it for 10 years, so there's both. And then if you don't end up using it, you can always end up creating another subsequent capital reserve to use any unused funds and roll it over into the next one. So to answer your question, once you exhaust the money, you cannot recontribute to that capital reserve. It just has a maximum funding or a useful life. Yep.
I have a question too. Knowing that if the soonest we could put this to a vote based on the state's decision would be September, just for residents who are in person live and maybe folks at home who might be listening, what does that then do to our timeline of the planning period and then the actual beginning of execution of the project, like the physical construction? Could you just give a brief?
Yeah, absolutely. So obviously there's going to be delays, but once the community approves the project, we go into a design phase anyways. So depending on how fast the design phase we can proceed through it, really dictates what happens. We would obviously try to phase out the capital project in different manners to try to not increase the timelines, because another thing that we always have to be paying attention to is disruption of learning, especially when you're doing roofs or additions and distractions to students. So we could still, at this time, possibly change the order in which we phase the capital projects to kind of maintain the existing timeline. If it goes too much further, we may have to push out that timeline a little further.
Thank you.
Yep. Anything else? Thank you, gentlemen.
Thank you for your, I just say thank you for your patience and measured approach with the state and all the curveballs that have been thrown, and I'm sure there are other ones to come, but it's an exercise in patience, so thank you very much. And your specificity with the reports thus far.
We appreciate it. Just a huge thank you to Derek for his leadership around this. I mean, he's carried the load with a lot of individuals, and certainly our architects have been very strong partners. So we'll continue to update you and hope for good news in the future.
Okay, thank you. Okay, we are at 7C, which is approve the following field trips. We have 3 of them. AP Environmental Science to SUNY Cortland from 5/22 to 5/23 of 2024 to participate in the New York State Envirothon. And then the varsity cheerleading to Honesdale, Pennsylvania from 8/27 to 8/30, 2024. And then the varsity ice hockey to Messina, New York from 1/10/25 to 1/11/25, played 2 games. So I'll need a motion to approve these trips, please.
Elizabeth?
Elizabeth, I heard. Second? Kristen? Any comments or questions on these trips?
No.
Seeing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Abstentions? Motion carried. Thank you. Item 8, meeting updates. Anyone for Monroe County School Boards Association? Committee reports.
I attended the Spring Law Conference that was last week on May 2nd. Really timely topics on managing your policy manual, which as the board knows, we're working on right now, gender equity in athletics, along with the changes to Title IX, booster clubs, fundraising and case law, and generative AI in schools. I took copious notes, which I will share with all the board in the next few days, but it was an excellent conference. Tons to learn, and highly attended this year, I think, because of those topics.
Great, thank you. Anyone else?
Said the information exchange for doing a superintendent search, simply just there as a resource, having gone through it with this, well, some of the people on this group. So, fear not. But no, I sat in and actually was able to lend some reflection from what we did as a board some years ago, and told them how well it turned out.
I would love to hear the notes on that one.
I think it's attorney-client privileged.
Yeah. Anyone else for Monroe County School Boards? How about standing committee updates? Anyone? All's quiet. Okay. Upcoming events. Annual vote and election is Tuesday, May 21st, as Dr. Terranova said earlier, right here. And then the next board meeting is June 12th, again, right here. But we need to talk about calendars and some items. Maureen, you going to help us with that?
Sorry, President Delusha, could just to highlight that board meeting is on a Wednesday.
Yes,
not a
thank you.
Thursday.
So I have a couple things I need to ask. First of all is the School to Career Connection Breakfast, which is next Thursday, a week from today, in the morning. Sue Utz had sent out an email inviting the board members to attend, and she's asking for names because she does do seating and wants to introduce our board. She's asking for RSVPs by tomorrow. So if you don't have it, I know Kristen responded yes already. But if Lisa will be there, okay.
And where is it? It didn't say.
It's at the intermediate school cafeteria. Yeah, and I'll put that on the board Google Calendar for you, and I'll confirm that.
I too can attend. I just found out my PT is scheduled for the next day, so I'm available then.
What time is it at again? I don't.
7:45 to 9. It's like an hour and 15.
I'm not going to be able to make it just with my school schedule.
Right.
Scheduling, I'd have to excuse myself at 8:45.
Right.
I should be available as well.
Okay.
I think I'm going to be available.
Yes?
Probably if we were to attend, we should attend the whole thing, right? Instead of leaving.
I mean, honestly, I think she would completely understand if you have to, because she's actually saying, if you're, in her email, it was like, if your school would understand, I mean, I think any attendance would be fine.
She needs to know by tomorrow. Okay.
Yeah.
I'll talk to my administrator and see what I can do.
Okay.
I do want to be there to support, so.
Okay.
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 Thank you.
All right. Okay, so I've got Lisa, Tim DeLucia, Kristen, Brian, Christopher, Elizabeth, maybe, Adam, no, okay. Okay, perfect. And then the other piece I left at your seat was on the, regarding the Monroe County School Boards Association Annual Dinner Meeting. It's their annual meeting, and the entire board's invited to this. It's at the Strath Allen on the 29th of May. RSVPs aren't due until Wednesday, the 22nd, but I wanted to just give you something in your hand so you can take a look at it. The menu is on the back page, and you can either register yourselves, and I'll get notification that you registered, or if you want me to do it, just send me an email.
Always a really, really great event.
Yeah.
You know, they have beautiful entertainment, usually involving some very talented students. It's a great meal. Go through the budget. They elect new officers, and they honor retirees and people who have made great contributions. It's really a great opportunity to connect when we typically don't have time to connect.
And I can send a reminder out next week if I don't hear from you, just to say yes or no if you're attending, and I'll probably do that by Tuesday.
Okay.
The citrus chili tofu is calling to me.
Hey, don't you make fun of my tofu.
Oh, no, it looks fantastic.
That totally would be what I'd order.
Thank you, Maureen.
You're welcome.
Okay, then. Okay, we have a couple other requests. Kristen, I'm going to let you make the next one, if you would.
So I'm going to dovetail on Tuesday's conversation that Elizabeth really spearheaded some great ideas to visit facilities, buildings around campus every month. And I know at the beginning of the year, each month is dedicated to a certain building. I wanted to bring it to the board's attention that the coming May visit is the Tuesday following the long weekend of Memorial Day. Several of us sit on the board are educators, and it's typically, and Dorothy may be able to vouch for us, I've been notified by my own district that it is not suggested that I take the Tuesday off after a long weekend, especially in my work district. We got an extended day because we didn't use a snow day, and it was a directive. And I'm unhappy that I wouldn't be able to do that site visit because of my work obligation. And I think there's several of us that feel the same way or have the same commitment issues. So if we could have a conversation and then a gentle request. I think it was the ECS that we were going to be visiting.
Yes. Yep.
With, I know it's kind of short notice because there's not a lot of time in the year and things are so busy, but I would love to reschedule that if we could, because I don't want to miss that one. So if I don't know what step we would have to take, add a few possible dates to the ECS administration, what would work well for them. But, and I think the June visit was.
There is no June visit.
There's no June
so this
visit.
is the
Why am I
last.
thinking
This
that
is
there
the
was a-
last year there was.
Visit of the year.
Yeah, last year there was. This is the last visit of
Calendar
the
got
year, so
very
we could
full very
actually move it
fast.
to the first week of June if we needed to.
Is it the last one? I can't remember if we did ECS yet.
This is
It
the.
is. This is.
ECS is in May?
Yes.
Yeah.
I thought it was, okay.
Like May 31st. It's the Tuesday
It's
after.
May 28th.
May 28th, yeah. It's the
Very
Tuesday
end of it.
after Memorial Day.
I'd be in favor of it, and I would suggest that if Maureen got viable dates from the ECS, Mr. Groves, because based on what they're having on the different
Do that.
days, what would be best for them on the latest lift, and then send those out to the board, and we can all
Sure.
have a, was it doodle request?
Yeah.
Is there, because the ECS starts a little bit later than typical, would there be a consideration of an afternoon visit? I mean, that, I wanted to just put it out there just as an option, maybe if it offers, because a lot of times they're first thing in the morning, and it may not be great for everyone's schedule. It might be very disruptive to put something in the middle of the day. But I just thought, could we have a conversation about that? Because the ECS does start a little bit later.
Just from being a kindergarten teacher, I'm going to say it.
Gonna take Elizabeth's.
They wilt afternoon. So
they will.
I think like morning would be better if there's some unexpected extra big people roaming the halls and possibly
Thank you for that
popping into
experience.
rooms. So
That counts me out.
that's my 2 cents. But I mean,
I appreciate that. I'm coming from the other end of the.
I have a retired colleague in the gallery nodding emphatically.
Do not go in the
said that once
afternoon.
too, that for that building.
Unless we bring milk and cookies, then we're good, you know, yeah, I'm kidding.
I'd kick back to Mr. DeRose and just say
could
dates
do
and
that.
times, and
Yeah.
he might
Okay.
suggest a different time.
Thanks for that.
Can definitely do that.
Morning, yes.
Thank you for bringing it up, Kristen. because
Well,
I'm
it's,
in that same
part of it is, sometimes I have a very heavy morning, and I have to decline being able to go visit because I have commitments in the morning, depending on the day, where my afternoon might be more open to go. So I just didn't know if anybody else was feeling the same way, just to kind of get creative with maximizing the number of individuals that could participate. But we'll leave it the way it is, based on the great recommendation, which I totally get. So, thank you for considering another day. I appreciate that.
Okay, anything else?
Can we just have a reminder of what time the mission and vision meeting is next week?
4:00?
May 5th, the date, May 15th,
It's on the 15th.
It's 4 o'clock to 5:30.
4 to 6
5:30
p.m.
On the 15th, yeah.
in this boardroom, I believe.
Yes. Okay, anything else?
Yeah.
I have just a couple more things. As just a reminder, we're in the middle of the superintendent's evaluation, so we got another week and a day, a couple days to finish our piece. Also, Maureen, you put your self-evaluation on the secure site also, right?
I did the self-evaluations on there and the form for this year. In
So,
the form, I removed a couple of items that Tim DeLucia and I spoke about. It was in my goals from last year, things I'm not responsible for anymore.
so her self-evaluation is there, and it's our obligation to do an evaluation of Maureen as well. Okay, so look for that one.
Is Maureen self-eval, we're going to submit both of them on paper.
Yes,
One is through the super eval portal, and Maureen's is just to you?
yes,
Okay.
Maureen put on a Word document that can be input to, so, and then send those to me and I'll compile them.
You prefer it digitally?
I'm sorry?
Would you prefer us to send it to you digitally?
Yes, that would be great.
Awesome.
Yeah, that would help. Okay, anything else? Then, motion to adjourn by Adam.
Kristen.
Second by Kristen. All in favor, say aye.
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 Any opposed? Motion carried. We have had a meeting. Thank you, folks.